So this is going to be an overview and a detail of this workflow, the Eden shortcut. What the Eden shortcuts are, they reside within each requisition or purchase order folder, and they look like this. They are a link. Windows recognizes the file type, it's IGL. When you double click on it, it opens a corresponding Eden record, whether it is, regardless of which module that it points to, it opens an Eden record. So that's what it looks like, and the way it functions in the context of purchasing documents is this is actually linked to the various attachments, so that if a user is in Eden integration, they can get to an Eden record. Actually, I guess that's not true. If they're in Laserfiche, they can, in essence, get to the corresponding Eden record by going to the metadata and double-clicking on this, and then it will open up this requisition. So that's the purpose, that's the usefulness. So let's look at how it works. Now this particular workflow is used with other modules, such as charitable solicitation permitting module, but in regard to the purchasing documents, it is only used as an invoke workflow. So here it is. Here's the overview. It retrieves field values, link ID. This is important because a purchase order, well, actually no, some requisitions could potentially have have a purchase order link ID in there as well. Now, of course, this field will not be in the purchase orders, but it's there. It needs to grab it if it's working with one of the permitting modules. But in this case, it's never going to work with the permitting modules. There's never going to be a permitting number. So here's what it does. Based on each link ID value, we have a whole bunch of container tokens here. These are blank ones. And just to look at here, this is the path, link path. We're going to see how that works. The attachment name. These two here go into the scripting of when further down the line, when the actual IGL file is created, this gets populated. These tokens are used in the scripting and the new attachment entry ID. We'll see that later too. But first we split. Which module is it in? Is it in a requisition? Is it a permitting module? Or is it a PO? If it's requisition, it has to start with ESPRENTH, which is the requisition module. And then immediately we check the history data, and we use the requisition number to check that. So it queues up requisition history data because for this next branch, which is it historied or is it archived? So if it's historied, it will take the requisition number. It's going to create this thing called the attachment name, where it's requisition history. That's going to be the name of the IGL file, and it pulls in the requisition number from up here, retrieve values. Now this is what is going to go into the script. So this tells it it's in a history module to open the Eden history module, and it plugs in the requisition doc number for each value, current value. So the link ID minus minus everything after the double @ symbols. So then it does a search to see. Oh, one other note here. This parent folder path, this is actually part of the input-output parameters. The parent folder path, this is being pulled in when used with the purchase note. Let me just show you this. The purchase note, actually that's not true, under purchase requisitions, this find entry, it finds the location because the entry moves around quite a bit throughout this whole thing. So it finds it, so it knows its current path, and then it passes it here to parent folder path, find entry, output entry path. So wherever that entry is, it passes it as a parameter to this Eden shortcut. So this is where it pulls that in, and it says link to Eden. So it pulls in that path and then link to Eden. So it's going to go in this folder for link to Eden. Long story short, it looks for any other documents in that area. I believe this should say requisition history though. So if it has found any of them, then it deletes it. And then so as to get rid of duplicate. So I'm going to look at that in a little bit and try to see if confirm that this should say history instead of requisition. So if the requisition is active, then there are no results in the history, and this is going to update. This is going to modify this token's data. Here's this parameter being pulled in, requisition instead of requisition history. This is a different bit of syntax to use, and again we're putting in the doc number, which is found in the link ID. So here is for the permitting module, and the permitting module just does something very similar, except it pulls in, it's all geared for the permitting. PO, regarding PO, for current, alright, so the conditions are for each value has to start with PO, ENH. So that means the link ID has to start with that. And if it does, then it pulls in, based on the CM attach key, it's going to provide us with some other data to put in down here, such as the PO doc number. And this is for the scripting later on. Alright, so once we have populated these empty tokens, whichever manner that occurs, we then do a search to find, what is the attachment name? The attachment name. So it looks for something, one of these pertinent Eden link attachment names, and it looks in the link path. And if the link already exists, then make this the new attach entry ID. In other words, it's already there. Let's just tell it this is the new path, and then it links the first result of the search as an attachment to the starting entry. If the link does not exist already and search count is 0, then it does something similar to the note. It creates an empty document. Now we know what the new attached entry ID will be, so we update that token. And here's where the scripting comes in. Line 1, here's my token. Line 2, here's my other token. Here's my entry ID for create entry empty Eden shortcut. So here's the entry ID for the new document that I'm creating, and it puts it here. Now it iterates 2 times to put that text into the IGL file so that the thing works, and it renames it IGL. Now here we create Here we create, actually we attach from the server that document that this activity just made, and we copy the metadata, and we create the link to the starting entry to this newly created document, this newly created IGL file. And this one cleans up the document on the server, entry ID, that's all I need to know, entry ID, IGL. And here we strip out account numbers, link IDs, because it's just a shortcut, very little searching value, just functionality for the user. And that's pretty well detailed. The only point of clarification here, which I'm going to look into, is to confirm whether or not this should say historied or not, and what the reason is. But other than that, pretty good overview, I would